Hello everyone, this is Emery and welcome to my tarot channel. Today we are going to do a pick a card to figure out how the person that you're interested in feels about you, to figure out if it's a relationship that you want to pursue, if it's a relationship you can pursue, and if it's going to be a relationship that has a happy ending. In order to do this tarot pick a card, all you have to do is pick one of these 4 piles. I have put an animal sticker on each pile, so I'm going to show each sticker up close. That way you can figure out which one pulls at your intuition. Whichever pile pulls at your intuition, that is a sign from the universe that that is your message. So let's go ahead and see the piles. Pile 1 is a sticker of a dog. I believe this is a Rottweiler. The second pile is of a smiling hedgehog. This is pile 2. And pile 3 is of a red panda. The 4th pile is of a bumblebee. So whichever pile you felt pulled at your intuition, that is yours. If you need to, you can pause this video and meditate on each pile to figure out which one calls to you. But once you know what your pile is, you can go to the timestamp below, or you can go to the description of this video and click on the pile that is yours and it will take you to your reading. So let's go ahead and get started. Hello pile 1, my dog pile. Let's go ahead and get started by pulling 5 cards from the Tarot of the Divine deck, just to get a general idea about how this person feels about you. All right, universe, how does this person feel about pile 1? How do they feel? How does pile 1's person feel about them? I feel like your cards are fighting me. There's quite a lot of energy here. Okay, let's actually pick all these cards. So the first card is 3 of Swords. This traditionally is a card of heartbreak. It can also be a card of clarity. I want to pull a few more cards before I decide exactly what this card is saying. So the second card is the 6 of Coins. This is kind of being in debt to somebody or owing somebody something. So I think with these first 2 cards, what we are seeing is that this person has some conflicted feelings about you. They're not certain that there's sincerity there, either because they owe you or you owe them. And it's really hard for somebody to invest their feelings into a relationship or even a crush when they feel like the 2 of you aren't equals. So there's something in your relationship that's causing an inequality. The third card here is the 3 of Wands. This card means that things are getting smaller, the horizons are being limited. I am definitely getting a sense, pile 1, that this person, their feelings for you used to be a lot bigger, but there is something that's holding them back. It's definitely that debt that I mentioned before, and there is something there. There is seeds of romantic feelings, but your opportunity to pursue this relationship is getting smaller and smaller each day. The next card is the Hierophant reversed. There's a lot of disorder, a lot of chaos. I am getting the feeling from this card and from the rest of your spread so far that whatever is this debt or this inequality between you two, it's not just something that you or they have done. It is your environment. There are things around you that are making it really hard for you to be together. So, for example, one of you may be in a position of authority, so it would be inappropriate to be together. For example, a coworker, maybe if you're in academia or some big organization where you can't fraternize with the people that you're around. It could also just be that your family members or your friends are really against you getting together. There's just something in your environment that is pushing back, even though I think both of you want to pursue this, but there's just that blockage. And the fifth card is the King of Coins reversed. So there is definitely something that isn't tangible about this relationship. There could be a fantasy element here. It could also be that there is some sort of financial blockage or material obstacle. Maybe either you or them live too far away. Maybe you are different social classes, but there are definitely a lot of obstacles. So pile one, when I am looking at your spread and I am trying to figure out how they are feeling, I definitely think that they have feelings for you, but it's turning into had feelings for you. I think that they're recognizing that there's a lot of obstacles in pursuing this relationship, and they're not certain that they are up for the challenge. So I want to now pull some cards from the Work Your Light Oracle deck to figure out if there's anything that can be done, just to see if how this person's feeling is premature and there is actually still a way to make this relationship happen. So universe, what does pile one need to know about making this relationship work, despite all these obstacles in front of them? What does pile one need to know? All right, your first card, I'm going to pull 3 cards from this deck, is Mirror with the wisdom message of who or what is triggering you. So I see 2 meanings here. Both of them may apply to you. It may only apply to half the people who pick this pile, where the other one applies to the rest. But the first meaning is that you are the obstacle. Perhaps your own prejudices or your own feelings about the obstacle are putting up a blockage that doesn't have to be there. Perhaps this person really does like you, but they are sensing a resistance from you, and that's causing them to pull back. It could also be like in the story by Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice, where both people have ideas about who they should be with and ideas about love, and it prevents them from seeing the opportunity that the relationship has, even though there are so many obstacles around them of class, of family. And that's something that you have to think about. There may be real obstacles between you two, but I think there is something here that is suggesting you could overcome them. Your love could overcome them if you decided to invest that affection into each other. Now, the second meaning is that the trigger is perhaps someone in your environment, someone who is making the obstacle worse than it could be. I'm thinking of Pride and Prejudice again here. Caroline Bingley prevented her brother and Elizabeth Bennet's sister from getting together. In addition, also Darcy himself. There's basically the family of the people involved tried to prevent one of the couples in the book from getting together. And I do sense that for some of you, there is someone that is making it difficult for you to be together. You may not even fully realize what sort of obstacles they're putting in your way. And because of that, you sense that there is this conflict between you and this other person, this person that you are interested in and who is interested in you. But all these obstacles keep getting thrown up and you think that it's not meant to be. But it may very well be meant to be. It's just somebody is interfering that shouldn't be interfering. Now, the second card in this deck is Dance with Life with the wisdom message of do something to change your energy. I am really getting this strong sense of Pride and Prejudice today. So if you haven't read the book, listen to the audiobook, or watch the movie, definitely go and do that, because there is definitely a lesson for you in that love story for your own. Anyway, back to this card. Dance with love. Do something to change your energy. I think because there's so many things that are working as an obstacle between you and this person, you need to figure out a way to put yourself and this person into another environment. You could personally ask them out to go on a picnic, or you could meet them at like a bar that you don't normally meet at. This would especially be true if you have family or friends and you normally interact with this person around those people. You need to break away from that normal location. You need to find a different location to meet. In Pride and Prejudice, one of the reasons why the main character Elizabeth Bennet and her love interest Darcy got off to a bad start was because of their family members and friends interfering, and when she coincidentally went to a different house to meet a friend who wasn't against the match, they were able to have more positive interactions. So you definitely need to change your environment in order to sort of erase the obstacles. I don't think that you can pursue this relationship unless your environment changes and those potential obstacles no longer have power over you. So definitely look at changing something. Now the third card in this deck is Deep Replenishment. It has the wisdom message of retreat, rest, be held. Now I do sense that you need to take a break from pursuing this relationship, but a very short break. If you spend too much time away from this person, the feelings that you have for each other will fade, but I do think that you need to step away, at least for maybe a few weekends or so, or maybe one weekend if you just met this person, and really think about what this relationship can mean to you, what your feelings for this person are, maybe analyze any prejudices you have that could be an obstacle. I think that stepping away from this person, but also stepping away from your environment and maybe introverting and analyzing and journaling will help you see your own inner voice instead of the outer voices of your environment that are serving as an obstacle. So what I want to do now is pull 4 cards from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck, just to figure out more about this situation and how you can make this relationship happen, because I do think you can make this relationship happen. It is going to be tricky, it's going to be difficult, but if you really like this person, and I think that this person likes you back, even though those feelings are fading, you can rekindle those feelings and make this relationship work. So let's figure out more about how you can do that. So universe, what can pile 1 do to make this relationship work? What can pile 1 do to make this relationship work? What is to be done? All right, the first card is soulmates. So I think that this isn't just a passing romantic interest. This person has the potential to be a soulmate. Now, I'm a little bit different from a lot of people on soulmates. I don't think a soulmate is just one person out there. It is a person that you can grow with over time. And the reason why I think this is because everyone has free will, and people can grow and change in such a way that makes it really impossible for you to continue growing with a person. But in the same turn, someone who is initially not a good match for you can use their free will to change in ways that you would be a good soulmate. And right now, this person really does have the makings of a soulmate and being a relationship that you can grow old together. So you should strongly consider trying to make this relationship work, because this person is a match for you. So this isn't just like a passing crush. It's worthwhile to do what you need to do to make this relationship happen. Now, the second card is the Fates. Definitely fated. I think that you were fated to meet this person. It's not just a matter of free will. The universe thinks that this person is good for you, even though you have all these obstacles. Perhaps these obstacles serve as important lessons, and even though they're frustrating, it'll help you grow as a person. And maybe the reason why you are meeting in the middle of this conflict is to serve as proof for you and this person that you're interested in that you can overcome the challenges of life together. So that's actually pretty exciting. If you can get together, there is a very good chance that any future obstacles you face, they're not really going to seem that big. You're going to be able to face basically anything. In life, death, taxes, whatever the conflicts are, you can handle it. Now, the third card in this deck is Poised. Now, because I keep thinking of Pride and Prejudice, and it is a story with a lot of dancing, a lot of manners, I do think that you need to be very cautious and very careful as you pursue this relationship. I do think that there are very narrow opportunities to make it work. They are opportunities that you can pursue and that will work. But if you aren't careful, if you don't think ahead, if you're not methodical, and you only rely on your passion for each other, it's not going to work because of the obstacles in your life, you have to confront them head on in order to overcome them. So definitely conduct yourself in a proper way, but also be a little bit aggressive, be a little bit empowered, because it's not just about being organized, it's not just about being graceful, it is about being competent. And the competence that you need to make this relationship work mean really advocating for yourself and your partner. In order to make this relationship work, you have to advocate for the relationship. You can't be a wallflower, you can't be someone who just gives in to the people in your life and to the structures in place that make it impossible to be together. You really have to challenge those impossibilities. That way your relationship becomes a possibility. The fourth card in this deck is Not For You. So I get from this particular card and this particular spread that there will come a point in the evolution of the pursuit of this relationship where it will no longer be possible, right? You don't have your entire life to make this relationship work. Once the obstacles set in, you are going to feel so much resistance that you aren't going to be able to pursue it anymore. So you definitely need to really push forward bravely in order to make this relationship a possibility, because you do have a limited time frame. I'm thinking about 3 months for most of you to about a year, and that doesn't mean you have to be married in 3 months. It means that you need to actually start dating openly with each other, in defiance of everyone who wants to prevent you from getting together. So overall, this relationship is worth pursuing. The universe wants you to pursue this relationship. It is a relationship that can last for a lifetime, but your opportunity to pursue this relationship is not lifelong. You have to really start pursuing it now. Otherwise, you are just going to miss it. So that is something you need to think about. If you don't think that you can handle the obstacles in front of you, you may have to let this relationship pass by. You need to be able to confront those obstacles in the near future. But if you're willing to do that work, I do think that you can make this relationship happen. Now, I'm going to pull 5 cards from the Chakra Wisdom Oracle deck to figure out anything else that you need to know. Universe, what does pile 1 need to know? about this potential relationship or pursuing this relationship. What does pile 1 need to know? All right, the first card is gratitude. So I'm seeing a pregnant woman here, and whether you're a woman or a man, or if you're not in a relationship where anyone is a woman, what I am seeing here is that this relationship is going to nurture a lot of gifts, a lot of commitment, a lot of togetherness, and you're going to be very grateful for what you experience together. And even though you're going to have all these challenges in the beginning, you are going to be grateful for the good things that happen. So despite the difficulties you'll face getting together, this isn't going to be a relationship only of trouble. It's going to be a relationship with a lot of blessings. The second card is quest. So there is pursuing this relationship. It's kind of like a romantic story. It's kind of like a heroic story. You're going to feel like this is going to be a pursuit that you should write down. Whether you do that or not, recognize that the pursuit of this relationship in this love story is something that would be interesting to other people. That's how problematic the obstacles you're facing are. It makes your relationship interesting when you do make it a success. So I think that you are going to want to document the pursuit of this relationship, either in writing, in art, maybe in biography if you don't want to write it down. There's going to be something that you want to do where you collect something or document it. That way you can show it to future children if you have them, to family members, to friends that will later support you, or just because you think that the journey that you undertake and all the difficulties that you are going to face in order to make this relationship a reality, it needs to be documented. The world needs to see how much you earned this relationship. And I think you'll also like looking back and seeing your story unfold in the future. Now, the third card here is renewal. So yes, overall with this spread, despite the initial problems, you are going to have a happily ever after with this relationship. That's not to say that you won't have normal problems that all couples have in the future, but I kind of get the sense that the worst of it will be behind you once you get together. You and this person are going to feel really connected, and you are going to feel very loyal. And that sense of romance is that honeymoon period may last the entire life. You may never feel like the romance is dead, which is pretty exciting. That doesn't happen for every relationship. The fourth card is workaholic. So in this card we see two people and they're looking at art. So even though your relationship is going to be very romantic, it's going to be very renewing, it's going to be happily ever after, it is going to require work. Now, when I see the work here in the workaholic, I don't see it as a negative. I actually see it as an indication that you and this person are so devoted to this relationship that you will put whatever work is needed to make it happen. You are going to go on dates, you are going to spend quality time together, whatever it takes to keep the romance alive, you are both going to choose to do it, which is really good. You're never going to feel like this other person doesn't love you as much as you love them. Now, the fifth card in this deck is Despondence. I do think that not everyone in your life is going to be happy with this relationship. There may be at least one or two family members or friends who are always going to disapprove, and that's going to hurt you and this other person a little bit. They're going to feel as if your relationship isn't accepted, even though it is clearly working. And that's something that you need to be prepared for, that not everyone is going to approve of your relationship, even when it's obvious that it was the right thing to do. This isn't unusual in some families. It's pretty normal for some parents to always disapprove of the person that their child dates. Just make sure that even if this disapproval exists, that there is still respect, or at least being able to meet together with this family member or friend. If you can't, and it's so negative that you can't meet together, you may want to avoid meeting in group situations with this person and your partner, or maybe even cut out this negative person altogether. It's really going to depend on that individual, because it's going to be different for everyone in this pile. Some of you just may only meet this person occasionally. Some of you may be able to meet this person all the time, and they're going to be very polite. They're still going to disapprove, but things are going to be fine. You'll be able to have family dinners or whatever. But some of you, you are really just going to have to cut this person out. I would give them an opportunity before you just cut them out cold turkey, because I do think some of the people that disapprove in your life will come to accept your relationship, but there's always going to be at least one person who won't. And you need to be prepared for that, and you need to be prepared to handle that in whatever way is necessary. So we are going to end with the angel oracle cards, the angel guide oracle cards, to figure out any messages from your angels that you need to know. Your angels are a protective spirit guide, so let's figure out what they have to say. For this one, I'm going to pull 3 cards. All right, pile 1's angels, what do they need to know about this relationship and their difficulties, or anything else that you want them to know today? What does pile 1 need to know? All right, your first card is expect miracles. This is a very pleasant card. I think that your angels are going to do whatever they can to help this relationship along. I do think that you need to start pursuing this relationship, but I think it's not going to be all on you or even all on this other person that you're interested in. Your angels are going to try to intervene in whatever way they can to smooth things over and to make this relationship more likely. So if you feel a lot of mysterious positivity, or if you feel unexpectedly blessed, that is your angels at work. They are going to try to do what they can. The second card is surrender. So when it comes to this relationship, I think it's probably a 50% chance that it'll work. And the main reason why is because there's such a limited time frame in order to pursue this relationship, and the obstacles that you face, they're pretty serious. Let's not make light of that. Some of you who pick this pile are going to be very discouraged by the obstacles that are around you. So you need to accept that it's very difficult to make this relationship work in the beginning, and you also need to accept that it's partly out of your hands, right? You're not the only one experiencing obstacles. The other person is also experiencing obstacles. And even if you're ready, this person may not be able to. So pursue this relationship with all your heart and all your mind and all your soul. And if you do that, I think that your angel is going to do whatever they can to inspire this other person to love you back despite these obstacles. But you do need to be prepared that it's slightly out of your hands. The other person does have free will, and it's really going to be up to them. It takes 2 to tango in a relationship, so be prepared for that. And your last card is forgiveness and understanding. So for some of you, I think you are going to be a little bit hurt by this other person initially pushing back on pursuing a relationship because of these obstacles. So you definitely need to be understanding of their concerns, but you also need to be very forgiving. Don't hold a grudge against this person that you're interested in just because they don't agree to a relationship right away. So don't let that fester once you are together. And also don't let it fester if this person ultimately decides not to pursue this relationship at all. The obstacles that you're facing are very difficult. And in turn, you need to forgive yourself for being overwhelmed by these obstacles. Some of you are going to make this relationship work, but you may feel bad that you missed out on some time in the beginning with this person because of those obstacles. So don't feel bad because of those obstacles in the future. It's okay. They were pretty big blockages, and it's understandable that you couldn't just meet this person and be together with them right away. And for some of you who unfortunately don't make this relationship work, I hope that doesn't happen for any of you. But if it does, forgive yourself. Falling in love is a bit like a war, and sometimes you don't win. But don't just love this other person, love yourself. That is where true compassion lies. And one final thing I should say is, for anyone who is initially against your relationship and who comes to accept it later on, definitely forgive them. It may be hard at first, and I don't expect you to forgive them right away, but if they do come to accept a relationship, your family or family members who are against it, just forgive. You may not be able to forget, but forgive them and be understanding of their opinions, and then just move on, because you all love each other, and once you all accept each other, it's going to be a lot better. So pile one, overall you have an amazing spread. I definitely think that you can make this relationship happen. I think that this relationship is meant to be. All that it really requires is for both of you to invest into your feelings with each other. I really wish you the best, pile one. I hope that you get together with your soulmate. If you resonated with this reading, be sure to like it and subscribe for more. Pile one, I hope to see you again. Hello, pile two, my hedgehog pile. Let's go ahead and get started by pulling 5 cards from the Tarot of the Divine deck, just to get a general idea about how this person feels about you, or anything that you need to know about pursuing this relationship. Universe, what does pile 2 need to know about pursuing this relationship? What does pile 2 need to know? All right, your first card is the Ace of Cups. This is an amazing card when it comes to relationships, because it's the start of something new. It's the start of a new romance, the start of new positive feelings. There's something very emotionally positive here. So let's pull some more cards to put this card into context. The next card is the Seven of Cups. This is about having choices. So I'm getting the sense that you actually have multiple options right now. The person that you're interested in, they're definitely an option, but they're not the only option, and you may have multiple positive options. But with the Seven of Cups, not every option is good. So for some of you, you may be in a love triangle. You may have multiple people interested in you and you're confused. So be aware that there's a lot of noise going on. Some good, some bad, but there is definitely the potential for you right now to end up in a great relationship. So the third card is the Chariot reversed. You need to stop, you need to pause, you need to really consider what you're going to do. When we see this Seven of Cups card with all these potential opportunities, I think that you're either confused or there is the potential that you pick the wrong person for you. And you really need to be careful in your approach. So the fourth card is the King of Cups. I love this card. It could represent you, it could represent them, but there is definitely somebody in your options who is just perfect for you. This person is going to really make you feel at home in a relationship with them. They are going to be your other half, and it's going to be just very positive and lovely. And your fifth card is Two of Cups. Oh my goodness, pile two. There is definitely some amazing romantic energy here. This person definitely feels for you. All right, so let me look at these 5 cards in general. So here's what we know. I'm definitely thinking the person that you are mostly focused on is likely to be the positive King of Cups that this this spread is indicating, but there is also this possibility that you could be wrong. So I think what you need to really consider is if there is somebody that is showing you affection who really is meant to be the person, but you're confused. Now, this isn't going to be for all of you. For some of you, there are multiple options, but you know which one is good. But for some of you, you may be a little bit confused. So overall, what the universe is saying for everyone who chooses this spread is to stop and really think about if this person is right for you. Because you definitely have someone who is meant to be with you in front of you right now, and they like you back. You like them, or you would like them, in case you're initially confused because you're in a love triangle or something. But overall, pile 2, there is the very real possibility with all these lovely romantic cards that everything is going to turn out okay in the end. So let's pull some cards from the Work Your Light Oracle deck. I'm specifically trying to figure out what the noise is here. So universe, what noise is going on in pile 2's relationships? How can they make sure that they make the right decision? And I'm going to pull 3 cards here. All right, what does pile 2 need to know? What does pile 2 need to know about the noise? All right, your first card in this deck is the Imrama card with the wisdom message of where are you being called to journey to? So with this card, I think that your heart and your soul is really pushing at your heartstrings, really trying to inspire you to make the right decision. Don't just think rationally. Even though there is a right answer when it comes to falling in love here, just thinking logically isn't going to work. You really need to think about what's causing your heart to beat, what is causing passion to fill your heart. That is what you need to listen to. So let's get the second card, which is Anna, grandmother of Jesus. It has the wisdom message of seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. So with this other card and this one, there's some sort of like fated or divine aspect to this relationship. This other person is likely to be a soulmate or a twin flame. It's not 100% positive, but there's definitely something in this spread that indicates this relationship is meant to be. It's a very positive relationship. It's a relationship that will brighten up your spirit. And it's also meant to be. It's going to be something that helps you grow. So let's figure out the third card here. This is Leap, you go first, the universe will catch you. So for some of you that have multiple options, especially if you're at the dating phase and you haven't committed to somebody yet, it may be appropriate to date these multiple people to figure out who really makes your heart beat, not beep, you're not a pager. The more time that you spend with these individual people, the more you will be able to see who is meant for you. So don't just look at each person like they're a list of traits and figure out which one's right for you. You really need to spend time with this person in order to figure out who's right. So definitely, overall, what you need to do, pile 2, is spend time with this person or these people to figure out who's right for you. Time is of the essence, and not in the sense that you have a limited time to get together with this person, but in that spending time with them will be very revealing of your heart and their heart. And also, especially because of this Ace of Cups card, which is starting a new relationship, or starting a new chapter of a current relationship for those of you who are in a relationship and you're not certain that this person still loves you, going on a date, spending time together, even if it's just Netflix and chill, whatever it is that you need to do to be with this person, is how the relationship is going to be nurtured and grow. So let's pull 4 cards from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck to get a little bit more information. Overall, I'm not seeing a lot of complexity in pursuing this romance and pursuing this person with their feelings, because it does seem like they like you back. It seems like you like them. It seems like this relationship has a lot of potential. So I'm definitely going to open up the next few cards for anything else that you need to know when it comes to this relationship. Because overall, pile 2, it's looking pretty good, actually. So let's see what the universe has to say in addition to what we already know. What else does pile 2 need to know? All right, your first card is regeneration. So this may not be for all who chose this pile, but for those of you who are already in a relationship with this person, or you're hoping to get back together with them, this relationship, this new chapter of this relationship, is going to be a lot more positive than the last, and it is very possible to enjoy the next phase together. For those of you who haven't already been in a relationship with this person, the energy of this card is indicating that you're going to feel like you have a new lease on life, that you are going to feel personally renewed. Overall, pile 2, pursuing a relationship with this person is going to be very positive. It's going to make you feel alive. The next card is Tick-Tock. So with this card, before I previously said that there may not be a limit on getting together, now the universe is saying there is a limit. I don't get the sense that you only have a few weeks to get together. There's probably a little bit more time than that, but I think, especially with you needing to stop and pause, that there is something about time here. I'm going to pull another card to put that one into context. I'm feeling like a second card is necessary. Yin, feminine energy. Okay, so with the Tick-Tock card and this card, you need to be very receptive. So I think partly when it comes to waiting for you, stopping your chariot and analyzing, it's about receiving. So receiving their attentions, their affection, in order for you to analyze what they're doing. So if this person is pursuing you, you need to let them pursue you. You may not want to be overly aggressive or take the lead in the relationship. Whether you're a woman or a man, you need to let this person show you how they care about you, what their interests are, and that's going to be very revealing. I think to some degree, you need to see what their heart is like before you want to commit your own heart. You want to see what they have to offer you. You want to see what their feelings are. And the fourth card here is deep knowing. So yes, overall, pile 2, when it comes to pursuing this relationship, there is this sense of waiting, there is this sense of stopping time, and that is to give the other person an opportunity to pursue you back. Now, some of you may be interested in someone who is introverted, someone who isn't as aggressive, who normally you would have to take the lead. So you're probably wondering, okay, how am I supposed to be receptive if this person isn't acting? For some of you, taking a step back and waiting will cause this person to pursue you. But for those of you who are trying to pursue a relationship with someone who is more introverted or shy, you do need to initiate first. But once you initiate, you need to give them the time and space to act. So for example, you could ask this person out on a date, but perhaps let them choose the location. You could also start a conversation, but let them take it over. Even though, for example, introverted people are often very quiet, sometimes very shy, and they're less likely to speak as much as an extroverted person would. Once an introverted person feels comfortable, feels safe, they tend to become chatterboxes. So once you show interest in this other person, you need to give them the floor to take the lead themselves, whether they're introverted or not. You need to give this person the time and space to love you back. That's very, very important. I think if you let them become the King of Cups, that earlier card, this energy where you express love, I think this person needs an opportunity to express love as well. They can't just be a receiver of love. They need to be a giver of love. So definitely give them that opportunity. Now I'm going to pull 5 cards from the Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards for anything else that we need to know. Again, I'm just seeing a lot of positivity with this relationship and with this person's feelings, which is really good. But let's see if there's anything else that you need to know, pile 2. What does pile 2 need to know? All right, your first card is bittersweet. So this could indicate for some of you that this relationship may not last. It may be very positive while it is happening, but it may be a temporary relationship. For others, you may have this idea of what a relationship with this person will be like, but once you actually start this relationship, it's going to be different. So let's pull some more cards to figure out what is going on here. Grief. So yes, I do think for most who pick this pile, there is the very real possibility that this relationship, it has an end date. This grief could be because even though the relationship is good in the beginning, it maybe turns out bad in the end. Maybe this person becomes ill. It could be anything that would normally cause the end of a relationship. The third card is victim. So I'm getting a lot of energies with this spread. Pile 2, one thing to be aware of with this spread is that for some of you, I actually think for everyone in this pile, actually, I'm going to go ahead and say it. This relationship is not going to last. For some of you, it is going to be because you're just no longer a match. For some of you, it's because this person has an untimely demise. For some, it's going to be because this person is a liar. They're going to look very attractive, but then perhaps they're going to be abusive. Let's figure out some other things. Complacency. Some of you are not going to let this relationship grow. And the 5th card is trickery. So overall, pile 2, what I want you to be aware of is that this relationship has an end date. You can't keep pushing this relationship forward beyond this end date. You need to be very aware. This person is very attractive. They're very interesting. But there's something here that isn't going to make this relationship last. Now, for some of you, this relationship ending is going to be sad because it was an amazing relationship, but for others, it's going to end because something went terribly wrong. So what I want you to do when you pursue this relationship, because it could be for both of you, depending on which side you fall on, is to be very aware about what this person is like. If you notice any red flags with this person, you should go ahead and get out as soon as possible. But if there are no red flags, be aware that this relationship may end because you're no longer a match, maybe because you and this other person just grow apart, or because this person may end up sick. So one way that you may be able to avoid the bad things with a good person is to really put a lot of time and effort into dating. Don't just focus on the honeymoon phase and then just give up afterwards. You are going to want to make sure that the relationship stays strong after the initial puppy love phase. For some of you who end up with a person who gets ill, make sure that you are both going to the doctor, that your car is running safely. I don't want you to be afraid, but for those of you who are going to end up in a relationship with a good person, just be cautious and you'll be able to avoid this problem altogether. As for those of you who end up in a relationship with a bad person, you probably can't fix it if they're abusive, or if they're like a cheater, or if they're just someone who just doesn't care. The only way to fix it is to get out. So definitely be aware of that. So go ahead and pursue this relationship, but do so with a full awareness of what may happen. Now let's end this with the Angel Guide Oracle deck for any protective messages, because I do think that some of you need these protective messages. Pile 2's angels, what do they need to know in order to make this relationship work in the long term, or to make sure that they don't get into a bad relationship? What does Pile 2 need to know? All right, the first card is Ease and Grace. Take each day one day at a time. Don't try to create too many long-term plans. Focus on your chemistry. Focus on being aware of what this other person is like, because if you do that, you are going to be very at peace in this relationship. It's not going to be a relationship that causes you grief or sorrow. It's going to be a relationship that really fills you with a lot of brightness. The second card is Ask and Receive. Throughout the pursuit of this relationship, be sure to ask your angels for their support, for their advice, and you will receive their guidance and their protection. You can pray, you can ask it inside your mind, you can just think about it, and you will probably see signs, symbols, you will probably have some miracles, but there's definitely going to be some reaction from your angels in relation to this romance. And the third card, the last card in your spread today, is Earth and Ground. This is a reminder from your angels to be very realistic. Definitely let your heart inspire you to pursue this relationship, because you need to make sure that you have chemistry. But once you are together with this person, make sure that you are very down to earth, that you are very practical, that you are aware of your environment and how your relationship interacts with the environment. Because if you do that, you aren't going to be taken by surprise. Overall, pile 2, there's some really good news and some really bad news, and some of you are probably really excited and others are really, really worried. Here is what I want you to know. Pursue this relationship, this interest that you have. It's going to be very exciting in the beginning, but make sure that you are very discerning to make sure that you don't end up with a toxic person. For some of you, you may end up with a toxic ex. For others, you may end up back with an ex and it's going to be wonderful, and then you just have these potential grief that you need to face. But yes, what you need to do is just be very aware of this relationship. If you're a little too scared of the potential of it going wrong, you may want to let this particular relationship pass by. I do think for some of you, this relationship is fated. It is going to be positive, but it may end terribly. And because of that, you may just not have the heart to keep pursuing it, knowing it'll end badly. But if you are ready for the challenge, you will like the relationship that you have. As for those of you who end up in a bad relationship, just break it as soon as you see those red flags. There is no reason to be afraid or terrified of the future when it comes to your romance. Just let your heart guide you. And if you let your heart guide you, your angels will protect you. Your common sense will kick in and support your hearts, and everything will be all right in the end. Pile 2, if you resonated with this reading, be sure to like it and subscribe for more. And I hope to see you again. And I hope that everything turns out wonderfully romantic. Hello, pile 3, my red panda pile. Let's go ahead and get started by pulling 5 cards from the Tarot of the Divine deck, just to get a general idea about how this person feels and anything else that you need to know about this relationship. So universe, what does pile 3 need to know? What does pile 3 need to know? What does pile 3 need to know? All right, pile 3, your first card is the 4 of Cups. This is about accepting an offer that you previously refused. Let's get some context. I always like to pull a second card before I decide on the first card's meaning. So the second card is the 5 of Cups, accepting what you have, even though it's difficult. So I think with these first 2 cards, what I am seeing is that for some of you, you need to accept someone that you previously rejected. It could be the person that you have feelings about now. This is especially true if you didn't previously like them and now you're wondering, hey, maybe there's something to this relationship. But this could also be a sign that the person that you're thinking about, they're not actually the one for you, it's someone else. So be very aware of that. Let's get some more context here. The third card is the High Priestess, reversed. So there's something faulty with your intuition, with your perception of romantic feelings. It seems like that you're not fully aware of how other people feel about you. It could be because this person doesn't know how to show their feelings, and it could be that you're not very perceptive of other people's romantic affections. But overall, I think that this is causing it to be very difficult for you to get and sustain a romantic relationship that is really meaningful for you. And this may be part of the reason why that you feel a little bit of grief and uncertainty in romance, because you aren't perceiving the right amounts of romantic affection that you need in the way that makes sense to you. And I do think that there is a little bit of growth that you need to do, a little bit of acceptance that you need to do. Perhaps for some of you, you need to learn how to recognize how other people express love. But it could also be that the person that likes you and the person that you like, they don't know how to express love, so you have to learn their love language. I do think one thing that would be really helpful for you and whoever you end up in a relationship with is to take the love languages test. Everyone has a different love language. Mine, I'm a little bit ashamed to say, is gifts and quality time. But you need to know how you experience love. That way you know how to organize your relationship in the appropriate way. You may also want to have this other person take the test, or if you can't get them to take the test, maybe because you're just starting this relationship or you're starting to pursue it, you could take the test for them and take a guess. And that would be really helpful because people respond differently when it comes to romance. And even if you don't have the same love style, you can learn how to be compatible by learning how to express that love effectively. So let's pull the fourth card here, and it is the Seven of Wands. This is about not having to defend yourself. So overall, pile 3, I definitely get the sense that even though there is this initial difficulty when it comes to falling in love and recognizing feelings, you are going to end up in a situation to where it's not as difficult as it was before. It's not going to require as much work, and I really think that's because you're going to figure out each other's love languages and you're going to learn how to accept love in all of its forms. So yes, this is overall a good sign, but it is going to be a difficult transition for you. The fifth card is the Nine of Coins. This is about having what it is that you want in life, especially of materialism. It is also a sign of potential loneliness. So when I am looking at this spread, pile 3, I get this overall sense that in order for you to fall in love, in order for you to perceive someone's romantic attachment effectively, you definitely need to figure out love languages, and you need to figure out what it is that you want and what they want. Otherwise, you could end up in a situation where you are alone. Now, I don't necessarily think that being alone is bad. For example, if you can't figure out each other's love languages, you don't want to push a relationship that isn't going to work. So make sure that you are in a situation where you and this other person are happy and you aren't pushing against what neither of you can handle. So let's go ahead and pull some cards from the Work Your Light deck. I'm definitely seeing a lot of difficulty in your spread. I don't see an impossibility, but I definitely see some obstacles that you need to confront before you can have this romantic happiness that I think you deserve. And overall, for this how they feel, it's a little bit difficult for this spread to say for certain that they like you, because I think that you're in a situation right now to where you wouldn't be able to perceive that in your environment anyway. There's some sort of noise there. So let's pull 3 cards from the Work Your Light Oracle deck to get some more context on this situation. What does pile 3 need to know? What does pile 3 need to know? Universe, what does pile 3 need to know about their romantic situation and whether this person likes them? So the first card is the Initiation, Rite of Passage, Crossing the Threshold. So yes, I overall just get this sense that you need to learn more about perceiving romantic attention and affection. Otherwise, this just isn't going to work. One thing that may help you, for some of you, if you've never dated before, you've never dated seriously, or it's been a while since you've dated, you may want to do some casual dating. This doesn't mean going to someone's apartment and sleeping with them. It could just mean going out on coffee dates and getting to know other people, figuring out what you like. It could end up going to somebody's apartment and sleeping with them, but overall, what you really need to do is figure out what it is that you want in a relationship, figure out what sort of romantic attentions that you like. If you've already gone through this dating phase and you kind of have an idea, but you're not completely certain, it may mean committing to someone and trying out a relationship with them. Don't commit like permanently. It's kind of like a trial relationship. Every relationship starts out as a trial. You hope for the best, you hope that it's going to be lifelong, but you really need to learn about each other. So for you, what you need to do is explore your feelings with other people, and your heart will reveal itself over time once you basically progress to the next level. Now the second card is Lemuria with the wisdom message of creating heaven on earth. It's happening. So even though there is quite a bit of difficulty in your spread and there's a little bit of confusion when it comes to perceiving affection, I do think that you are going to figure it out. It's going to be very clear to you in the future, probably in the near future. And when that happens, everything is just going to click. It's going to be wonderful. You are going to feel as if everything in the past was almost silly with how difficult it was. But yes, things are going to be very positive for you in the near future. You just have to make the decision to explore when it comes to romance, to explore your feelings, to explore their feelings in order to make that match. Now the third card is the ever unfolding rose with the wisdom message of cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. So you may be a little bit frustrated by the spread and by any difficulties that you're experiencing in your relationships right now, the fact that you're not certain that this other person likes you. It's not the universe being cruel to you. It's the universe letting you know that you're not 100% aware and completely intuitive in a relationship, and that can actually be quite harmful. For example, if you're not fully intuitive with your heart, you are going to pick up the wrong signals. You could end up in a very negative and dangerous relationship. This happens to a lot of people where they are attracted to somebody, this person love bombs them, and it turns out to be an abusive relationship. So for you, exploring your hearts in a cautious way will help you to figure out what you know you don't know in a relationship and what you need to learn. One thing you definitely don't know is your love language and this other person's love language. You're not quite certain how to match that. You are going to learn how that matches, but there's also this overall sense that there's some learning that you need to do with relationships in general in order to make your relationship happy and healthy. But even though that is a lesson that you need to experience, the spread does indicate that you are going to have a happy relationship. The universe isn't saying that you are going to be alone forever. It's saying that you just need to level up when it comes to romance. Now I'm going to pull 4 cards from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck for any more information about this. What does pile 3 need to know, universe? About how they feel, about how to perceive romantic attention. What does pile 3 need to know? What does pile 3 need to know? All right, your first card is Orphaned. So with this card, I'm kind of sensing a little bit of loneliness, a little bit of detachment. Perhaps the reason why you are struggling to correctly analyze how you feel and how other people feel and how to express love is that something perhaps happened in the past. Maybe you had a very negative relationship. Maybe your family didn't express love effectively. Maybe you are just feeling very alone because you have maybe a mental condition, or your life is going through a rough patch, but there is something in your past that's causing it to be very difficult for you to be in a happy and healthy place. You are not starting out at the same level that other people would, and it is going to require a little bit of patience on your part, but also patience on the other person's part. Whoever you pursue a relationship with, they need to be very understanding that you have some wounds in the past, and they may have healed, but they may have left some scars. So make sure that whatever relationship you pursue, no matter how they feel about you, that they are respectful. You need a person that really respects where you are in life right now. So even though you need some growth, they need to be at a position to where they respect your need for growth. Now, the second card is by the book. So I am getting the impression that you should probably take things a little bit slow in your relationship. You may not want to meet somebody and then sleep with them on the first date. You may not want to get married within 3 months. You'll want to take things slow, but make sure that it reflects your culture. For example, in the United States, it would probably be really weird if you didn't sleep with someone within the first 2 years of meeting, unless you belong to a more conservative subculture. But in some countries, it'd be very weird if you slept with them on the first date or before marriage. So definitely make sure that you are doing what other people do in your situation, and you're not being too impulsive or being too cautious. You need to match what other people are doing. If you're unsure, because the rules change all the time in every culture, you may want to ask your friends. You may want to look online about how people date. What are the traditional ways that people date, and definitely follow that as an outline for your own romance. You don't want to be too original or too unique in your approach, and part of that is because you are learning how to perceive people's attentions, and if you don't have a way to compare your relationships to other relationships around you, you're not going to be certain if what you're feeling is true or if this person is good for you. This is also a potential sign that if you do have friends or family members, if you can get them to introduce you to someone that has already been vetted, someone that they already trust, that is a good idea. For those of you who are in school, this is a great time to date, mostly because there's a lot of people, especially if you're like a teenager, your teachers, your parents, your friends, they all know the person that you're dating, and it's a lot easier to comfortably date with this other person and compare your relationship to others. So definitely compare your experience with the experience of other people's around you. It is a great way to learn. It's a great way to make sure that you are in a safe relationship. Now, the third card is Imagine. I want you to really dream about what's possible in romance. There is definitely this sign that you need to think logically, but I don't want you to not use your heart. Yes, your intuition isn't fully working right now, or the other person's intuition isn't fully working, but I want you to imagine the best for your romantic future. I want you to dream. I want you to have standards. Don't just pursue someone who shows interest in you if you don't like what they're offering, if you're not attracted to them. Want the best for yourself. Yes, you're going to have to make compromises, but you should compromise from a position of strength. You should compromise from a position of what you already want. That way, when you are figuring out each other's love languages, everybody's going to get what they need in a relationship. Because a relationship isn't just about one person getting everything they want, you or them. It's about both people getting what they want. And the fourth card is Yang. This is a masculine energy. This is about being proactive. I do think that you need to be proactive when it comes to your relationship. This means an active pursuit. So for those of you who may be interested in someone who is introverted, especially if this person has trouble expressing themselves, because for some of you, yes, your intuition's broken, but For others, it's the other person. Being proactive in your relationship will help make things happen. You can't be so receptive that you're waiting for the other person to act. You need to act yourself. This may mean asking the other person out. This may mean flirting with them so that way they feel encouraged to ask you out. This may mean giving them your number, your social media account, whatever you need to do to start things moving along, you need to do it. If you haven't met anyone yet and you're realizing that the other person that has feelings for you isn't a match for you, you may want to start dating, but you definitely need to be proactive. I am overall sensing that perhaps because there is this uncertainty, you're not certain that you should act first, but you should act first, because if you act first, pile 3, you're going to be in control. And I think if you feel like you're in control, you're going to feel more secure. So let's pull 5 cards from the Chakra Wisdom Oracle deck to see what else that you need to know. Universe, what does pile 3 need to know? What does pile 3 need to know? All right, your first card is Wisdom. So overall throughout this process, you are going to be a lot wiser when it comes to perceiving romantic attention and affection. Don't feel like how you feel now with this uncertainty it's going to last. Either you or this other person, everyone's going to wise up and act appropriately and be very, very, very obvious in their feelings. The second card is Perception. Yes, your intuition is going to be restored. Either because you learn how to train your intuition through experience, or because you figure out how the other person speaks when it comes to love, and it's going to help you adjust your intuition to match them. So 2 very good cards. The third card is Isolation. So with this card, there is this sense that with this spread, even though this other person may like you, I'm just getting this overall sense from your spread that this other person may not be right for you. There's potential here, and it's worth pursuing, but you need to be prepared that this particular relationship isn't going to work out. Perhaps because you aren't like a match for each other, even though you're interested. And if that happens, you do need to move on and just accept that this person may not work out. So that's something to be aware of. I do think overall from this spread that this person likes you, but they may not be ready for this relationship, or that you may not be ready for this relationship. Maybe because you would have to make too many changes. So be very aware of that. The fourth card is Gossip. Okay, so I think part of the reason why there's a little bit of conflict in your spread and uncertainty is because you two may not be an obvious match. And I think because of that, the people in your life may recognize that there is this noise between you and them and perhaps laugh about it and make fun of it. For those of you who do learn each other's languages, you're going to get over it, but I think for some of you, it's just going to be too much. The gossip, the mean things people say because you're not a match, it'll just be overwhelming. So be aware that no matter how this person feels about you, it may not work out in the end. Be prepared for that. I'm sorry to say this, but there's definitely a lot of blockages here. The last card is Instinct. So intuition is different from instinct. Instinct is something more primal, and especially when it comes to romance, it's like your sexual instinct. Do you have chemistry with this person? Are you attracted to them? Not are you able to express your interest to them and they're able to express their interest to you, are you physically attracted to this person? That, I think, is going to be the most important aspect to pursuing this relationship or any other relationship, because I think even if your intuition is faulty, your body is going to know if this relationship could ever work. If you don't have that physical primal attraction, it's a sign that that's just not going to work. Even your intuition is going to tell you later on it's not going to work. So all things being equal, if you can't figure out how this person feels, if you're feeling this blockage, use your instinct. I think if you do have a physical attraction to them, you are going to be able to push through everything that you need to do to learn the lessons on both sides to make it work. But if you don't have a physical attraction to them, nothing you do is going to work. So we're going to end with 3 cards from the Angel Guides Oracle deck for any final protective messages that you need to know from your angels. All right, universe, what does pile 3's angels, what do they need to know? What does pile 3 need to know? What does pile 3 need to know? All right, your first angel card is spiritual growth. Overall, from your spread, I do get a sense that you are going to learn a lot. I don't think you're going to be happy with every lesson that you have to go through. There are going to be some painful lessons, there are going to be some frustrating lessons, but I do think over the next few months to the next year, you are going to be a really changed person. Your angels are going to do everything they can to protect you through this phase, either to help you get with this person or to move on, because I think some of you, you're wondering how they feel is going to get you into a romantic loop to where you're going to be fixated on this person, whether or not they're a match for you, and your angels are going to make sure that your heart is never compromised. Now, the second card is the intuition and downloads. Be prepared that as you get more experience in love, your intuition is going to become superpowered. Your spread does indicate that you are going to be wiser in the future, or the other person is going to be wiser. And when that happens, you are going to start seeing signs and symbols in your environment. You may have dreams. You may just get like this psychic sense about relationships in the future. And once you start getting really strong intuitive messages, I want you to trust them. It may not be gradual, it may be very sudden, where you suddenly start getting a lot of messages, and when that happens, trust them. It's going to feel very different from how you experienced in the past. If your intuition was faulty in the past but still strong, to where maybe you got a lot of messages but they were wrong, what you will experience in the future when it comes to your spiritual growth will be very, very different. It's going to be like you enter a different room and all the decorations are different. So when you have this psychic difference in your mind, that is when you're going to know that you can trust more of the intuitive downloads that you experience. And the third and last card in your spread is do the work. You need to put time and effort into your romance. You can't just wait for the other person to act. And I think that's mostly because you need to make sure that your love language is being respected, and that whoever you end up in a relationship with is someone that you're physically attracted to. If you are just waiting for things to happen, you are going to be not really in control of your relationship, and you may be tempted to just accept whatever comes your way. I want you to make sure that you have a say in your relationship, that you have a choice, that your free will is being activated. Because if your free will is being activated, you are going to be more personally invested in the future of that relationship. Okay, pile 3, but you just need to know in general, when it comes to how this person is feeling, I do think that they like you, but there is the potential that this relationship isn't going to work. What you need to do to make sure that this relationship is a match is to figure out your love language and to make sure that you are both physically attracted to each other. If that is not the case, then you'll want to start dating and take those lessons into those future relationships. But overall, pile 3, I think that things are really going to look up for you in the future when it comes to romance, and it's going to be very exciting. If you resonated with this reading, be sure to like it down below and to subscribe for readings in the future. I hope to see you again, pile 3. Hello, pile 4, my Bumblebee pile. We are going to get started with 5 cards from the Tarot of the Divine deck, just to get a general idea about how this person feels and anything else that you need to know about this relationship. So universe, what does pile 4 need to know about how this person is feeling and this relationship? What does pile 4 need to know? Well, it looks like your Bumblebee flied away. Let's hope that's not a bad sign, pile 4. But we're gonna find out. Alright, your first card is the Tower. Okay, maybe the Bumblebee flied away for a reason. This is a card about things falling down. It's about a restructuring. Let's pull the second card to figure out what context this card is in. The Hermit, leaving to go on a intellectual adventure and to learn something. So I'm kind of getting a bad sense when it comes to how they feel. That you may perceive that this person likes you, but you're going to find out when you pursue this relationship that things aren't the way that they appear. And it may cause you to not be in a relationship with them. So what is the third card? Justice. Okay, pile 4, I am really getting a sense that this person does not like you, or something would go very, very wrong if you pursued a relationship with them. That things aren't going to happen. That something's not positive and something's not right here. I'm going to go ahead and pull the full 5 cards. 3 of Cups and the Fool. Alright, pile 4, my overall sense is that it is possible that this person likes you, but that they may not like just you. They may be interested in another person, and this may cause a cheating scandal or an affair. It's also possible that this person doesn't like you at all and they're using you to get someone else that they like. There is something very dishonest about this person, and it's going to cause you to be a fool. Now, you may be thinking, but I think that they may really like me. Could there just be something weird about this spread? It's possible. That is likely. Sometimes the tarot will tell you something that is true, but it's not the full context. But I am overall getting the sense that this relationship won't end well for you if you pursue it. So let's go ahead and pull the Work Your Light Oracle deck. We're going to pull 3 cards to figure out how you need to respond in this relationship, or this potential relationship, to figure out some more context here. Universe, what does pile 4 need to know? Or what is going on here, actually? So it seems like there's something happening under the surface that isn't positive. What does pile 4 need to know? Alright, your first card is Council of Light, Divine Orchestration, Helpers in the Subtle Realms. I am getting the sense that the universe is sending a warning sign, that they are sensing that there's something about this relationship that not only will not work, but is going to make you unhappy. And you may get the sense that your spirit guides, your ancestors, the universe is trying to stop you from pursuing it before it's too late. If there are any obstacles to this relationship in your environment, that is the universe at work trying to protect you. The second card is Awakening, with the wisdom message of energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. So there's a lesson that you need to learn here. Hopefully you don't have to learn this lesson the hard way, but I think this misperception that you have with this other person and their feelings for you, whatever they're hiding, whatever is under the surface, you're going to learn how to avoid this in the future. There's just this overall sense in your spread that there's a lot of red flags, and you have the potential to be made a fool in this way again in the future if you don't change. But the universe is using this situation to try to teach you that lesson, so that way it doesn't become a routine. If you have the habit of entering into a relationship where the other person is taken, or where the other person is just fooling around with you and they're not really serious, perhaps this is a person who is a friend, and they want like a friends with benefits situation, and maybe that keeps happening to you and you keep hoping that this relationship will turn into a committed relationship, but it doesn't. This Justice card is about definitely making the other person learn from their unethical behavior, but it's also about teaching you how to stand up for yourself and to get what you really want. So whatever you want in a relationship, which I think in this spread is someone that really loves you back, the universe wants to make sure that you are in a relationship with someone who is able to truly commit to you in a way that you appreciate. Now, the third card in this deck is Pillar of Light. Your vibration is rising. You are the Oracle. So overall, you do need to learn how to avoid this situation in the future. I do get this overall sense that partly what you're experiencing right now with the Tower is a restructuring of how you perceive romance and how you pursue romance. I think some of you who pick this pile are going to pursue this relationship no matter what I say, no matter what this tarot spread says. And what the universe is going to do if you do end up being that person, and even if it does turn out wrong, you are going to learn an important lesson from that, and you are going to be forever changed. But overall, pile 4, you aren't going to be the same person you are today once you get through your feelings for this other person. You are going to be able to move on, and you are going to pursue romance in a way you never have before, in a much more positive way. So I think that is where the Hermit card is coming in. You are possibly going to do a lot of self-care. You're possibly going to tend to yourself, tend to your needs. You may not even date for a while or pursue romance for a while until you feel comfortable again. That is something to be very aware of, that you may go through a transformation. It may take some time. You may not end up dating for a while. Make sure that you don't try to fill your loneliness with casual relationships that mean nothing to you. I think that would be a bad idea, because I think if you pursue casual relationships in this situation, you are more likely to repeat the same mistakes again and again and again. So let's go ahead and pull some cards from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck to figure out what else you need to know, maybe how you can have positive relationships in the future, because I definitely get this sense that you attract people that aren't available. And I want you to be able to attract people that are available. Universe, what does pile 4 need to know? How can they get their Bumblebee to come back? What What does pile 4 need to know? And I'm going to pull 4 cards from this deck. All right, your first card is round and round. So I don't think you're going to get it right on the first try. I think even if you take some time off from dating, when you start dating, you aren't going to find your soulmate the first time. Or if you do, you're not going to get commitment right away. Maybe because you're uncertain, but there's something in this card suggesting that it's going to take some time for you to find love. You're going to need a little bit more experience. You're going to have to circle the wagons. It is also a possible sign that someone that you dated in the past, maybe this person who isn't a good option right now, they could be a good option in the future. So be aware that you are going to spiral a little bit, but I think that spiraling will end up being good for you in the end. The second card is a change in the wind. This is a sign from the universe that you're definitely going to be a changed person. It's also a potential sign that the person that you're interested in may change too. Right now, a relationship with them is not going to work, but for some of you, maybe when they do become available, it would work out. If you're the other person, you may want to make sure that this person completely separates before you continue the relationship. You may also not want to date them right now, and then maybe a year from now see where they are to see if they're available, truly available, by the way. If this is a friends with benefits situation, maybe stepping away and then being open to starting a relationship with them in the future. I do get a sense that for some of you, you can end up with this person in the future, but definitely not right now. I'm probably thinking for a whole year at least, you can't be with this person. The next card is exchanging gifts. So even though there is this overall sense that this experience that you're having is going to be negative, the Justice card is upright, and I do think it's going to end in your favor. I think you are going to learn something from the situation, and so is the other person. I think this is why some of you may end up in a relationship with them in the future anyway. You're going to grow from this situation. But whether or not you end up with this person, it's going to be somehow a positive experience for you. Even if it's painful now, you are going to learn and grow in a way that'll make romance possible for you in the future. The fourth card is serendipity. So there's good luck here. I know this spread started out very negative and your Bumblebee just flew right away, but I do think that everything is going to turn out well in the end. I don't want you to feel very negative. I don't want you to feel like if something goes bad here that you are doomed. Everything is going to turn out well for you in the end. Something about this experience is going to help you meet the person you're meant to be with. Either this person that's currently unavailable will become available in the future, or perhaps there's somebody in your orbit or their orbit who is the perfect person for you. Be aware of that. There's just something fated about this situation to where you are meant to be in this place and time. Maybe you're not meant to suffer through what you may be suffering through this potential breakup if you do end up with someone who is unavailable. But everything's going to turn out well for you in the end, and it's going to be a very happy experience. Whatever is happening now, it's meant to happen in some way, in some manner. It's meant to get you to where you need to go romantically. So let's pull 5 cards from the Chakra Wisdom Oracle deck for any other wisdom messages that you need. Overall, your spread started out quite negatively, but I think it's ending positively, and I like seeing that. I was a little bit worried when I saw the Tower, and then the Hermit, and then the 3 of Cups and the Fool card. All those cards aren't something you want to see in a love reading, but it's starting to shape up to be very good for you. Let's see if that continues. I hope it continues. I want good news for you, Pile 4. Alright, what does Pile 4 need to know? All right, your first card is dissipating. So we see an old woman here with a bird watching television. I kind of get the sense of an old maid. You may be feeling that you're going to be single forever, or that you aren't going to be in a committed relationship as the years go on. That's not true. What I am sensing with this card and your spread is that you are going to meet someone. You may feel like you're alone for quite a while before then, but you are going to find somebody. Your sense of loneliness, your frustration when it comes to romance, it's not going to last. You are going to be in a happier position. The second card is acceptance. With this card, I think that you need to accept some things about yourself and the way that you approach romance in order for you to grow. You may need to accept that you seek people that aren't available. One of the psychological reasons that people do this is because they feel safe. They may not actually be ready for a committed relationship, so if they pick someone who is already unavailable, it means that they don't have to worry about the relationship ending because the commitment's not ending. They just get all the fun things of the relationship, and then when it ends, it's not a sign that they did something wrong. It's something the other person did wrong. So I think that you need to accept the ways that you pursue romance that ultimately hurt you. But once you learn to accept that, you are going to know what you need to change. The third card is abundance. This is definitely a sign from the universe that you are going to have romance in abundance. I think for some of you who pick this spread, you may not care about monogamy anyway, and you're probably seeing this spread and thinking, I don't care if they're dating someone. But for those of you who do want monogamy, you are going to end up in a committed, loving relationship. And for those of you who don't care about monogamy and probably are seeing this spread and being really excited because you have a lot of opportunities for many relationships, you are going to have many relationships. But overall, you are going to be very happy when it comes to romance. You are going to be very secure, whatever form that takes. You are going to be able to start relationships, whether it's a monogamous relationship or a non-monogamous relationship, and be very happy with it. It's going to be on your terms. It's going to be healthy and productive, which is something I want to see. You aren't going to make the same mistakes that you made previously. You're going to be very happy with how you pursue relationships. And the fourth card is release. This is about releasing all the things that have hurt you in the past, perhaps what's hurting you now. This might be a sign for some of you to release this person that you have feelings for because they're not for you, either right now or ever. And this is going to be a little bit painful, but in this card we see rain, and whenever you see rain, it is a purification. So when you release what's hurting you, when you let it go, you are going to be able to move on. You're going to be able to fill your cup with something new, something that you would prefer and which doesn't hurt you. And the fifth card is creation. And we see the tower here again in the background. But this time I am sensing that this tower, it's actually a tree, but it makes me think of a tower when I first look at it. You are going to recreate the tower of your love. When we see the tower in this card, it is actually referring to the story of Rapunzel in this particular deck, and Rapunzel is a love story. It's about freeing her from the tower, but in your case, you are going to build a new tower for you and the person that you love, and when that happens, it's going to be wonderful. It's not going to be a tower of fear or oppression or anything like that. It is going to be very lovely. It's going to be something connected to the world, to abundance. It's a little bit murky. I do see smoke in this card, and I think that is because your current vision of the future isn't completely certain, and that's okay. It's okay if you don't have a perfect vision in your mind of what you want. You are going to figure out what you want, and it's going to be wonderful. Definitely look towards your heart. I think there's a lot of purity within you. I think that's maybe one of the reasons why you're taken advantage of by people who aren't available, because they want your purity, they want your good spirit, but they don't want to commit to that good spirit because there's something wrong with them. And I think that you are going to be this ball of light that attracts good things to yourself. So we're going to end with 3 cards from the Angel Guide Oracle deck, just to get some positive or protective messages that you need to know. I do think you need a little bit of protection going in. Everything seems like it's going to turn out well for you in the end. You are going to learn what you need to do, but I do think that you are going to need some help from your angels. So let's figure out what your angels have to say. Piles 4, angels, what do they need to know? How can they stay safe in this situation, stay happy? What does pile 4 need to know? All right, your first card, and I like this card, is yes. Your angels are pretty enthusiastic about your future. They really believe that you're going to be happy. They really believe that you're going to fall in love. There's no uncertainty here, even though your future is currently murky, even though you're a little bit probably disappointed after the spread hearing that this other person likes you, or they appear to like you, but they're not available. Your angels are really certain that you are going to be happy in romance. Like, they're really positive there. The second card is no. I see this as a protective energy, this yes and no. They are going to make sure that whoever you end up with is going to be someone who fills you with love and light, and you're not the only person responsible for love and light. Remember earlier how I said that you have this purity within you and people are attracted to it, but they don't want to commit to it? I think that your angels are going to help you to find somebody who is also pure in spirit, or pure in intentions, and it's going to be very positive. Your last and final card is Mother, Father, God. So this mother-father thing makes me think of a couple, and this God energy makes me think of something divine. I think that you are on your way to finding a soulmate, or maybe even a twin flame, your other half. And when you find this other person, it's going to be a cosmic experience, right? You may be frustrated by everything that you experience now, and in the past you may be frustrated that you aren't currently in this beautiful relationship where everything's certain, but you are going to have that. You are going to have a relationship where towers are built instead of destroyed, and there's just one more brick after another brick until there's like this beautiful monument of love, and that is on its way. It may not feel like that right now, but it is definitely on the way. One thing I want you to be aware of is how your spirit guides and your angels are at work to keep you safe. Definitely take to heart any obstacles which block a certain person for you to pursue. It's a sign that your angels and your spirit guides are protecting you. Take it seriously. And when things start to get really easy and you don't sense any red flags or you don't feel any anxiety, that is a sign from your angels that you are on the right path and that you are with your other half. Overall, pile 4. I was a little worried in the beginning with your first few cards, but I think something wonderful is going to happen to you in the near future. You just have to get over this current hurdle. If you resonated with this reading, be sure to like it down below and to subscribe for more in the future. I hope to see you again.